to Canon for it. So I've got this. I've got a big grin on my face, an absolutely big grin on my face, and it's not why you think it might be. It's we've got a returning familiar. I call him a familiar, not Leandro Trossard. Who's he? Who's it? Never heard of him before. But we've got Prosper in the house. Good evening, brother. How are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm
And
happy.
Pardon?
I'm happy. I'm happy. We're okay.
I'm
We're
happy
okay.
here as well. And good evening to the whole Canon family, the whole Ghana family. It's nice to be with you guys again.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I've got the brother from another mother, Glenwyn.
How's it, Alex? How's it, Guna family? And welcome back, Mr. James.
Don't do my intro.
Thank you very
sorry.
much. I think you might be holding his
Sorry,
intro.
you always said I wanted your job, so yeah.
James, how are you?
Very well. Nice to be back after a long while. It's been quite busy this end, especially with being able to attend games from Amsterdam. But it's season, and excited to see so many Gooners with smiles on their faces. It's your thing.
Yeah. That hasn't happened in a long time. But yes, this is the latest segment of the easier talk on a Friday evening. That's it, Friday evening over here. At least it's going to vary wherever you are in the world watching us over here. But I'm not going to say subscribe. Don't subscribe. If you can, click the like. If you're able to, do it. If you don't want to, you might have problems with me. But anyway, that's a different story for another day. That's different for another day. But you know what? Just the activities of the last, I'd say, 24 to 48 hours has kind of left me scratching my head. And the activities of the last almost 7 days has just left me wondering what's going on. Now, James, I know you're pushed for time, but I want to go to you first, James. With the situation with Nico Pepe and Mudryk Mihailo, or Mihailo Mudryk, who I had never heard of for 2 weeks ago. I'd never heard of him before, James. Is the fact we didn't get Mihailo Mudryk because of Nico Pepe, the money that we spent, and there's a big question mark. So why didn't we go for Mihailo Mudryk or Mudryk Mihailo?
Well, one thing I will say, leading on my experiences at all different levels of world football, Alex, every professional footballer, you cannot play. You can have hopes and ambitions, dreams, but you can't plan a career. Things need quickly, and I think that the January transfer window is always a window of desperation of players wanting to get that move. A team that's teetering. You know, if I had my way, it would be abolished. But I think with the way the world is at the moment, it leaves a lot to be desired, and you can't. I think clubs need to start to understand. You know, these are not like stock in a storeroom. You know, we'll go and get one of those and pick them off the shelf. You are sometimes moving to different countries. Young players who are maybe moving abroad, learning life skills. So they're learning to cook, they're learning to clean, they're learning to look after themselves. And it's not gold at the end of every transfer window and every transfer that's made. And I just think for most clubs, and you know, buying isn't always the correct solution. Nice are going through a torrid time. Recently sacking their manager, getting third division side. They're not the Nice that looked extremely good under the first spell when they almost qualified for Champions League and did really, really well. And things can change in football.
So before I go to Glenwyn or Prosper, I want to push it a little bit further. So Leandro Trossard, I've admired him over the last 2 seasons, played for Brighton, but I never saw that coming at all, James. What's going on? We have the money, we have the buying power, we have the attraction because Arsenal now are at the top of the Premier League. I mean, what are your thoughts quickly about Leandro Trossard?
I think first and foremost, have a body in a squad that's fighting on three fronts factually, but also in his point of demanded for leaving training early and without permission, and therefore down and say that that's not tolerated, and putting him on the bench. You know, these are not because they're not working 60, 70 hours a week like normal working class people. It's training 3 hours, things. And my first thought when we signed him was it's not so much strategy as thinking more of a body. So at the moment, but the most important thing is to try to win a trophy. I mean, we all want the ultimate of a good season, but yeah, it's another body in the ranks. So hopefully you can quickly as possible and give us another option.
Okay, so Prosper, to you, is Nico Pepe, the deal, £72 million, the reason why Arsenal thought, well, you know what, we're not going to get into a bidding war with Chelsea. This is the money that we're willing to pay. If Chelsea wants to take Mohamed Mudryk, then go. But we're not going to get suckered into, buying or overpaying for a particular player. So is Pepe the reason why we didn't get Mohamed Mudryk?
I strongly believe Pepe is part of it. Pepe is a victim, is both a victim and an effect of how the commercialization of modern football has led to having average players being overrated and basic players being put on the average level. Because if you look at Pepe, probably he had the talent, he had the skills, but he didn't have he was always working under pressure to perform to that amount of money he was bought for, So that didn't give him the time to settle down, and looking at the football culture he was coming from, probably his whole football background, he wasn't ready to carry so much weight on his shoulders, you see? So I feel that also contributed to the Mudryk scenario. So, because it would have been more money for another player, yet on the pitch he wouldn't have performed as good, probably.
I just find it very interesting of doing transfer news over the last 3 years on the channel, and James would bear testament to this. You always hear a particular player or players who are like the flavor of the week or the month. I mean, I'll go back to Hosam Awar. Did we sign him? No, we didn't. Dominic Szoboszlai, heard about him. Did we sign him? No, we didn't. And I just thought, Mohamed Mudryk had that scent about him. It was just like the flavor of the week, and we didn't end up signing him. But Glenwyn, your thoughts about Mohamed Mudryk, and is Nico Pepe to blame why we did not get Mohamed Mudryk?
If I'm honest, Alex, I wouldn't say Nicola Pepe is entirely to blame. He's innocent in the whole situation. I mean, it's not his fault that we've paid 72 million for him. Obviously, it was negotiated on behalf of him. And yes, maybe Edu and Mikel Arteta wasn't part of that deal entirely. So they inherited Pepe and the deal. So I think, having scrutinized the deal, in my mind, if I had to inherit a staff member from the business that I'm coming into, I'm going to have to scrutinize, why are you so expensive? What is your background? And. So they had to scrutinize and study that deal, perhaps, by saying, look, you are not the caliber player for 72 mil. And I think that is why they started as low as 40 million. And to start off the deal with Mikhailo Mudryk. And I think that was always the budget for him. But because Shakhtar didn't want to change their stance, knowing what they want to do with 100 million. Therefore, I think they were pushed into maybe going a bit higher And eventually, when they reach the 95 million mark, I feel personally, and this is something I thought of this afternoon, is did they go to that height just to derail the deal completely in order to piggy punch Chelsea in taking the deal? Just the thought. I mean, I'm not saying that's what happened, but just the thought of, I know what I want to do. I'm going to take us to the highest height. I know that you want to do a bidding war, or you wanna enter into a bidding war with Arsenal because we are your rivals, and now we're saying we're going to a 95 million bid. Perhaps that's genuine, or perhaps it was just a ploy to really let them get the player, and obviously move on to the next step. I don't know. That's just the thought that I had in my mind. It doesn't make sense to many business opportunities, but I would not say Pepe is entirely to blame. His fee attached to his deal for Arsenal, I think, make it more easier to blame the player. I mean, I looked at stats. I looked at stats of Pepe. Pepe has played 14 games in League One, and he scored 6 goals, which is a good return. Mikhailo Mudryk, in his first year of senior football, he scored 10 goals and 7 or 8 assists. So, but then you can also argue the fact that the Ukrainian league, opposed to the League One, I think League One is probably a much better league than Ukrainian league. So there's no real comparison. I think it's just Shakhtar wanted to take the bid to a highest level because they know or knew what they wanted to sort of do with whatever money they get.
Do you know what, James? What I thought about when I heard about Leandro Trossard signing eventually for Arsenal, I think in the end it's going to be like £27 million. The first one that came to mind was, do we not have any players in the academy who could save us that amount of money? That's the first one that came to my mind, James.
Yeah. Well, I think what Fell Window has shown me is that it's as if the reports are picking it. Tombola, taking a ticket and reading a name and linking that club. And I look at my own experience being a football fan, being an Arsenal fan. 3 examples of 3 excellent footballers who I rate extremely highly. The Sabali of Real Betis had a great World Cup with Senegal. Also played for France. Is a really good footballer. Full of energy. Tremendous. Alphonse Blassa of BLA again scored a wonderful goal team at the end of last season and works really hard. He's got a tremendous work rate. But Benjamin Boriscio of Rennes, I've been tracking him for about 3.5 years. For the life of me, how he has not been picked up. And they are 3 players that I've been keeping an eye on that are excellent footballers. You don't see them with any clubs. It's as if in there and want to create a kind of regarding certain players that most people have never heard of. And I just think as well, you've got to think of the well. I mean, I've been fortunate to speak to pronunciation, and when they actually get there, it's nothing like it. And so clubs have a responsibility to handpick, to use their academy as well. I mean, Echelons of France, who are second for their academy, they're second in France. They were a second division club.
Right. James is having some problems with his microphone there, and maybe his Wi-Fi. So, I think he's just jumped back in. Let's try and bring him back in. James, can you hear us? I think there was some.
Yeah, the wonders of technology. The wonders of technology. As I was saying before we was cut off, going toe to toe with one of the richest clubs in the world. Why? Because there's a structure there, and Glenn was well about League One and the quality of League One, but there's more pressure as 4 teams get relegated and only 2 come up. League One is being reduced to 18 as of next season. So for the 4 teams that will go down, and there's no playoff, it's all back you done and dusted. So there's more pressure this season on teams in France. It's more difficult. I think with this transfer window, you know, it's as if they've been picking names out of a raffle. I start to think about the human side of footballers, because it's something I've always been fascinated. I've always been littered with things like that. I mean, to give an example, when the likes of Haley and Arsene Wenger first bumped into George Ware, and Glenn Hoddle tells he dressed in a robe with his boots in a brown paper bag, and then the world star who's turning international defenders inside out because he was a complete unknown. To show how scouting is so important, especially in this day and age with the money involved.
Prosper, for you, you know, Leandro Trossard, £27 million, and I'm hearing some news about there's been almost another player over the line, Jakub Kiwior. I'm not sure about that.
It sounds like caviar.
Caviar. Quite expensive. Prosper, your thought?
Okay. I like the way James has put it across, because he's looked at another angle, which I wouldn't have probably looked at. But I'm looking at Leandro Trossard for 27 million. And you asking the question, do we have anyone in the academy with the qualities of Leandro Trossard? I feel we don't have a player in our academy with those qualities, because I looked at the player, and one thing I liked about him is a much rigid version of Suarez. He has the technical skill, the ball handling, the confidence, and that finesse finish when he's in front of goal. And those are the qualities we lack in mostly if Jesus is not in the game. We need somebody who can become in that 16-yard or 18-yard box and take those shots like he knows what he's doing. I think Leandro Trossard is a good signing for 27 million, honestly. Only time will tell, but I believe for 27 million, he's a good signing because he's boxed with the big boys. He's been there, bumped with the big boys, big defenders, and he's proved himself. So for 27 million, it's a good buy for me.
Did you ever believe that Mudryk was Arsenal's #1 target? Was he Arsenal #1 target?
No. I think if you look at the past transfer, probably the past 2 or 3 transfer periods, you would notice that Arsenal would put their limelight on one player to distract competition from another.
Yeah.
So for me, I think their target was Leandro Trossard.
And for you, Glenn, before we go into the next topic.
Leandro Trossard. Remember I said in the last easy talk that I've been on with you guys, is stick to the plan. You know what? I'm not sure if we've planned this whole thing. Again, there's so many things that can be said. There's so many things that has been reported upon, and we all believed from the reports with the famous journalist that Trossard, Mudryk was our first choice, and I think we started being interested in him just before the summer's deadline day, or on deadline day, I'm sure. And since then, we've been contacting him and trying to get over the line. With regards to Trossard, I think for the cliche, what everybody is saying is that he's Premier League approved. But the one thing that he brings to Arsenal is what we don't have. He's not a runner. He's not a guy that will take on like Martinelli that will run behind a defender. He will take you on, and he will gladly slip into the side, into the inside, and try and score a goal. And he's a big team or big game temperament player. And he runs with the big boys. I mean, he scored a hat-trick against Liverpool. He scored, I think, against United as well. So he's a big temperament player, and he brings something different to Arsenal that we don't have, because our wingers are runners. They're taking on people, whereas he would want the ball on his feet. He would want the balls directly to him and come inside and do something like that. So a good buy for 27 million. And the experience that he brings, none of our players in the academy has that experience. And also Saka and Martinelli and Emil Smith Rowe can also learn from him that leadership role that he will bring as well to the younger ones, so they can learn from him. And that is priceless to learn from an experienced Premier League player. And Mudryk wouldn't have brought that. I mean, he's young, he's got a high ceiling, so who knows, he's going to be he's either going to be good or he's going to be a flop type of thing. So you don't know that. With what Trossard brings you, you've seen it week in, week out. So you know what he can bring, and I think it could be a part of the plan all along. Yes, Mudryk might be one of the first choice, but Trossard, I said it before, it's a thought that it came to me today, and it could have been to derail or to derail the plans of Chelsea to take a hold of Trossard, because I mean they're also interested in him.
I'm going to jump to the third topic, because again I'm mindful of the time that we have James Rowe on the show for, and because James now lives in Amsterdam. James, I want to push you on the issue of Man United versus Arsenal, or Arsenal versus Man United on Sunday. Erik ten Hag, for me, has done a really good job at Man United at sorting out the mess. I know it's early days, but from what I'm seeing from Erik ten Hag, James, he's doing a really good job, James.
Well, he was always...
Oh no. James? Just at that time. Gremlins.
The wonders of technology.
Yeah. Right, it's come back. James, can you hear us? James. No, James, can you hear me? Oh, he's on mute now. We can't hear you, James.
James, your mic.
Oh, he's gone out again. Oh, he's come back. Right, let's see. James? Oh dear. It looks like the Gremlins have defeated us with James, unfortunately. James, we can't hear you. Right, so whilst James is sorting out that, I don't know, Prosper, did you want to add anything else before we go into the next segment about, Leandro Trossard, Mihailo, and actually all the other targets, the number one targets in this transfer window?
I feel we don't have the final. Maybe let me add on to on the subject of Leandro Trossard and maybe Mudryk. I feel as Arsenal as a club, we don't have the muscle to bully other teams on the market. So now we're using like a shadow approach, whereby we put all the media and all the attention on one player, yet we're going for another. And that's how our transfer seasons will go, our transfer periods will go from now on. Because if they say probably we're going to buy this player by the end of the summer or by summer transfer period, definitely you should know we're not buying that player.
Okay. James, can you hear me?
Yes, can you
Yeah.
hear me now?
Yes, we can. James.
I don't know what it is. As I was saying regarding Ten Hag, he's ever since his time at Go Ahead Eagles and FC Utrecht and even discontent, and he's always come good. And it's a massive job to take. He will help, excuse me, by potentially winning a trophy in his first season. But we've seen Mourinho when he won with Manchester United and they failed to invest. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens well. But he's always been an astute manager, and I've spoken to a couple of players that played under him, and they even said that he's a tactical genius who lives and breathes football. There was even a little before he took the United job. There was on the Dutch news about a little clip when he was asking the great Johan Cruyff a question when he was a young man, and he said, "Your teams, how do you make sure that your team plays well?" And he was so incredible.
So James, again, I'm mindful of the time that we have with you. So there is a potential. The Glazers are looking to sell the club. Do you think that will affect the operations insofar as at management level for Erik ten Hag? Would it affect him in any shape or form?
I think it would. I think it would. It would affect anyone. I think if you have a new owner coming in who maybe wants to own a new person, maybe as crazy as it sounds now, but if a big they might want their own person which they appointed, but he can only do his best, and United, but the way to go. People forget with the great run that also included Burnley and Charlton, with greatest respect as well, and also Bournemouth as well, who are Premier League. So we'll just have to see how it goes, but still a long old season still to go.
Absolutely. James, with that said, I guess you have to go now, don't you, James?
Thank you for having me back on, and I thought Prosper and Glenwyn made some fantastic points. As you and
thanks, James.
Looking forward to speaking again soon.
Thank you, James. Go well.
James, have a wonderful evening, and we will keep in communication as always, James. Take care, my friend. Speak to you soon. Okay.
Have a great weekend as well, everybody.
Same to you, man.
All right, bye. Right, so we go on to actually the second segment, which was about Arsenal. Where are Arsenal? Arsenal at the top of the Premier League, and it's in their hands. Prosper, it's in their hands. Oh, Terry, now I don't want to push you because, like James just said there, we've got a long way to go still.
Yeah.
Are we winning the Premier League, Prosper?
Well, that's a tough call. I wouldn't like to shoulder this one. Honestly, because
no,
because if we don't get it, it will hit me so hard. Eventually, it affects us. It affects our day to day. You can't run away from it. Yeah, but I'm looking at what we have achieved so far, and I'm looking at Leicester City. Was that 2000 what season?
2017, 16, 17. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at what we have achieved so far. It's up there for the grabs.
All right. Okay. Nice, short and sweet, Prosper. Prosper. Glenwyn, it's Arsenal's hands to lose.
Can I say no comment? You know what? I mean, everything sounds cliche.
Yeah.
But I said it to so many people and on the different platforms that I am on. We can't get carried away. We can't get ahead of ourselves. And I will take the stance of Mikel Arteta, and he will always say, and every other manager has been saying it, you can only take it game by day, game by game. And we're playing on Sunday our 19th game. Then we've got 19 games still to go. And 19 games, including Europa League, including FA Cup. There's plenty soccer football to play. And I mean, I've seen the discussions today on the fodder crew WhatsApp group, and I mean, it's good banter, it's good discussions, and it's good debate. But you get the feeling, is this enough for us to go and win the league? We can sink it ourselves, we can lose it, and then we've lost ourselves. But what I've said in that same WhatsApp group is, what was your, and I mean, this is an honest question and answer that you had to give yourself as a fan of Arsenal, is we all had predictions in the beginning of the season, even before the season started. My prediction was City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. That is the top four. That was my prediction. I didn't expect or even thought of that we will be in this position at game 18. So I'm going to stick to my prediction for the sake of consistency. And we always preach about the team must be consistent. Why as fans can't we be consistent? So if we predict it as fans, yes, you can maybe change your prediction midway or whatever not. But I don't want to do that, because then I'm going to shift the goalpost to a different direction, because I saw my team ending up third by the end of season. I'm going to stick to that, because there's plenty still to go. And again, I said, we don't address the elephant in the room. And I mean, you've been talking about it in everyday show of since the start of the season. You said, if we're not going to recruit in January, we're going to end up like we did last season. And that is a fact. I mean, yes, we are two players in, one player over the line, one is coming for medical over the weekend. So I don't want to change my prediction. I'm going to stick to third. If we do get a second or a win, that is, I'm proven wrong. You know what I mean? So, I mean, for what I've been witnessing and experiencing with this team that I love so much, I have been daggered in my back so many times before, because I trusted. Yes, I trust to a certain extent, but you also got to show me why I should trust. You understand? So I can't get ahead of myself by saying, yes, we will win the league. I can't.
Glenn, would it be an unfair conversation to say that if Arteta does not secure top four, then he probably needs to be sacked? Is that an unfair conversation we should be having sometime in the future?
That was always in the back of our minds. We've always said, I said it myself, and I've said, if he has 2 or 3 windows under his belt, surely he would be judged, because now this is, I mean, you got 6 players in the first window, 2 players, 5 players in the second, now it's 2, that is half a team. So surely you have your players that you wanted, you have to get some sort of progression into where you were. 8 first, 8 second, 5th, 3rd. So surely you have to go a step up in 4th or 3rd or 2nd. And at this point we still have a chance, but I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
So yes, we can judge him on those 3 windows so far. I think it's 3, I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So if he doesn't get top 4, then I think he has failed.
For you, Prosper, is this an unfair conversation to have, that if he does not secure top 4, then we probably might be looking at a manager who might be sacked by the board?
I think I would go with Glenn's point, because honestly speaking, especially this transfer season, I think I've seen some kind of big-headedness in Arteta, some kind of stubbornness in Arteta's way of business. Because honestly speaking, we've always talked about a defending midfielder, a capable defending midfielder, Alex. We've always talked about another number 10, attacking midfielder. We've always talked about 2 extra centre forwards, competitive centre forwards, number 9s, different stature, different style of play, and we're not getting that. Instead, we're getting transfer games, you know. So if he doesn't get to top 4, if he doesn't win anything, honestly speaking, the money was put on his table. It's no one else's fault but him.
Sorry, can I just add something, Alex? I think this is his fourth. This is fourth or fifth window. I think I say fourth official. Last season, this particular window, winter, he didn't get anything. But he also obviously got people out. So that is his fourth window. So he could have gotten at least one player to set off the sails of the rest or the backups of whatever he left. He could have gotten at least one. So yes, I will stick to that. I would chase him away if he didn't get top 4.
But you know what, Glenn, just very quickly before going to the next segment, a lot of people were saying the reason why we didn't get top 4 last season was because the Thomas Partey injury. I think that's quite harsh on Thomas Partey. I look at the 3 games that we lost on the bounce after the international break, Glenwyn and Prosper. I think if we had got the points, at least 4 points there, we would have been in top 4. But I think to say, with Thomas Partey got injured, that was the main factor why we didn't get top 4. For me, I thought that was a bit harsh, Glenwyn.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we didn't get anybody in, obviously, knowing that Partey didn't have a good season and he was injury prone. He was more on the sidelines than in the game. So surely you had to have backup for that. You could not have put all your eggs in one basket like the El Neni basket or the Sambi Lakonga basket, because they don't have the pedigree that you thought that Partey's got now. I mean, we've seen and are seeing the real Partey actually on the pitch. So it is harsh to blame it all on his injury. If we gotten in at least a half decent player to back that up, surely Tottenham wouldn't have won us. Newcastle wouldn't have won us. If Tottenham had won us, we probably would have won what's his face, Newcastle. Then we're still in for it. So you can't blame Partey's injury for that. It's the lack of recruitment in that window.
And Prosper, before going to the last, actually, I want to go into the live chat. We've spoken many times about the necessity to get a central defensive midfielder. Do you have a particular player in your mind that Arsenal should be going for in the market in this window?
Definitely. I've always had one player on my mind. Defending midfielder, no questions asked. Traore from, is it Wolves? Not the Adama Traore, but that guy on loan from France, first league in France. We played against that boy and he really worked our midfield. Because
he got injured in the last game.
Yeah, let me just add on to what Glenn was saying. If you look at, and we've always talked about this, Alex, if you look at our team, Partey is overweight because Xhaka cannot defend. Watch on every game, Xhaka is always pushing back. He's always drawing back. He's never facing the guy with the ball on his position. And that gives players like Tierney more work to defend against 2 people. You see? Because Xhaka is not good at defending and is not as energetic. So Partey has to do a lot of work in that midfield. And that takes a lot from a player. Now, if we have a center midfield, as we said last time, Alex, a very quick-footed center midfielder who can also defend, then a defending midfielder who can also be a backup for Partey, it would mean our midfield would be solid. And each and every competitive game, we'll lose points because of that lack of dynamicness in that midfield. And that's not a player problem. That's a management problem, as Glenn said.
So then why is he gone? Why did he bought Trossard for £27 million? Why did he buy him?
if I look at Arteta is more obsessed. I can't call it he likes buying, but he's obsessed with wingers. I think he just feels every time he's on the market, he's buying more wingers and forget our center backs and forget the rest of the positions.
So again, do you want to say something very quickly before I go into the live chat? Or
yes.
Yeah.
I think I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, sorry, man. I lost my train of thought.
Okay, no
It will
worries.
come back. It will come back
Well,
to me.
let me go to live chat, and then if it comes to your mind again, then we can review it. So we've got Jonathan, who says, catching your show, guys, from Uganda. Just very much happy. That's good to hear. And there's a pink hand from Ivan, waving. Hi, Ivan. We've got Ty Gunnosaurus, who says, seeing War Games, even Richard, I hope you had a good day. He also goes on to say, hello, everyone. Hello to you. Alex, we have signings. Whoopee. Well, we need a central defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
That's what we need. That's the position there.
That's the elephant in the room. Yeah.
Exactly. Big old elephant there. And we've got one of our moderators, Ashi, who says, hey up, Gooners. Arsenal will never have a bidding war. They know their price and won't go above it, just like Martinez deal. And we've got Static in the house, another moderators. Hey, Alex and panel, good evening to you. What else do we have here? We've got Gary, DWTT, says even Alex and panel and the chat room. And we've got someone who I recognize, Gunnar Matters. Good win. And we've got, is it Caviar or Kiwior is a done deal? I've not seen him play. Which position is it? A defender?
Left centre back.
Left centre back.
Yeah, that's backup for Gabriel, I believe.
Right. Okay. I've never heard of him.
Apparently played 4 games in Poland's World Cup. I didn't see Poland's game, so I can't say much.
Right. Tony, good evening. Another moderator said Arsenal's academy is very weak. Maybe just to back up what actually Prosper was saying, that we don't have any players of the caliber of a Leandro Trossard to come in there. Okay, fair enough. And he actually went on to say Mudryk was obviously our main target. But Tony, how do you know that? We were making the assumption that he was our number 1 target.
According to the reports,
Yeah, we've had the awesome Hawa, we've had all these. It's never
Vlahovic.
Vlahovic, yeah. Anyway, Trossard was the fortunate guy, and he said actually, Mudryk we bid on the 14th of December. And Richard, good evening to you. Says means we can rest any of the front 3 now in the FA Cup and Europa League, and have an alternative off the bench in Premier League. With a goal threat. Mudryk was clearly an investment in the future. Well, not at that price. Not for Arsenal, at least anyway. We think we acted quickly after not getting our first target. Again, we're making an assumption. Mudryk, was he our number 1 target? I don't think so. Did you mention Fresendo at right back incoming? No. Nope. I didn't.
There is links, or let me call it rumors.
Yeah.
That has been talking about on Sky, on TalkSport, and all sorts of things. That is what it is. It's just a rumor for now, so I'm not sure how much. If nowadays after the Mudryk saga, I mean, you take everything with a pinch of salt. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Richard says a third signing would be good. Apparently, we're getting for Camavinga on loan from Real Madrid. Only speculation, isn't it? Speculation, rumors. He says top 4 is guaranteed in my eyes. What, have you got a crystal ball? Have you, Richard?
Richie Rich.
Nothing is guaranteed in life, man.
Yeah.
Moses, good evening, says William Saliba to sign new contract with Arsenal. It's a big achievement. Is a wonderful player. Yes, he is.
Yes.
Prosper, does he need competition on that left-hand side?
Saliba?
Yeah, well, actually, sorry. William Saliba in the centre. Does he need competition?
Definitely. Every player needs competition. We don't want that situation we had with the Lacazettes and the Aubameyangs, where they felt, okay, this is our house, you know?
Yeah,
we need players to feel, to have that competition on the bench. Look at Tomiyasu's position and Ben White. And if you look at Tierney and what's his name again?
Zinchenko.
Zinchenko, yes. There's that competition, and the player on the bench knows, okay, this guy is playing really well. If I don't up my game, I'm staying on the bench forever. You see? So we need that with all the players.
Glenn, you've just seen something. What have you seen? Something in the live chat?
Yeah, Eddie out Trossard in. What?
Who's this? Who said that?
Forever Gunner 14. Wow.
All right. Okay. Eddie out. Trossard in. Reason why? Why? If he's still there, Trossard is a better finisher. Glenn, do you have his stats? Trossard's stats?
No, I didn't go for his stats.
Right. Okay.
You look, Trossard is a goal scorer. Yes. I would not interfere with Eddie's form right now. No. Eddie is on a high. He's confident. He's pushing himself. I mean, against the London KFC down the road. He was tired, but he pushed himself to the last bit. You can't change his form right now by interfering. Eddie out, Trossard in. No. Trossard is coming in. He's coming to my house. He has to wait for an invitation to get onto that pitch. Who knows? Maybe he starts on Sunday. We don't know. Maybe you know what I mean. But if Arteta is going to do that, you're going to break Eddie's confidence immediately.
Yeah.
You can't break Eddie's confidence like that. You need to give him that opportunity to fail rather than breaking it. He must decide my form is down, or he has to be that player to forfeit form. But you can't, as a manager, you can't change that now. Not now. He's too on a high.
Yeah. And actually, Richard's just backed you up. He said Trossard has to earn his place like everybody else.
Correct.
Have to earn your place. Right. Never change your winning team. Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely. Completely agree with that. Right. Let's go on into the last segment. Well, actually, last thing we want to talk about, and it is some business of the Premier League, playing against the old enemy, Man United. Prosper, your thoughts about the game on Sunday?
Well, Glenn and James talked about Ten Hag already, his experience, and I think is it Glenn? James compared him to Jose Mourinho, but I feel Ten Hag is better than Jose Mourinho in the aspect that Jose Mourinho works with a big budget team. Ten Hag can work with a small budget team. So if you compare Arteta on the technical side, if you compare Ten Hag and Arteta, Ten Hag has more experience because he's played bigger games, he's played Champions League, more Champions League games. He's handled bigger players than Arteta has in his career. You see, so we should be going into the Sunday game with a lot of seriousness. And the point I would like to stress out is, we've talked about this time and time again on this platform, on any other Arsenal platform, social media and whatever. Arteta's Achilles heel is game management. You know, we score a goal, we can't keep possession, we can't control the game. We just want to attack and come back. And that has been Manchester United as well. They're a team that will sit back and wait to counter. So we almost play in the same game. So whichever team manages the game on Sunday will win the game. because you need to be very tactful on Sunday. You just can't be going forward without knowing what you're doing. They will punish us. At the same time, we have to keep the ball. This time around, if we score first, we 2 up, we have to keep possession like the Barcelona of them days. We just have to pass it around. We're not under pressure to score again. Why should we push forward and leave gaps in the back? You see? So that's where Arteta is really failing our team. But if he handles that well, game management, possession, and also his substitutions, the last substitution he made in the past game were not convincing to me. They really put us under pressure, Sometimes it just makes substitutions for the sake of, okay, let me substitute someone.
Yeah.
You see? He doesn't look at, okay, what is this player going to contribute, or what effect is this substitution going to bring?
Yeah.
You see, he removed Martinelli from that game and put in, is it Tierney?
Yeah.
And there was no threat on that side. I would have preferred he put in someone like for like player, just to give the wing that pressure, So for me, it's a 50-50 game. But if the worst comes to the worst, let's get draws against big teams. Let's not lose points.
Yes.
There's one comment here. I know Glenn was just doing something very quickly on his channel there. But there's one comment here from Richard who says, a tough game, but going for a 3-1 win for the Arsenal. There's also the link to Glenwyn's YouTube channel. I don't know, we can't make it any more easier for you. There's 60 of you watching now. Click the link and subscribe to Guna Matters. Wonderful content there. Do you want to say anything about the game on Sunday, Glenwyn?
Before we do that, I recollected my thoughts of earlier on. Trossard, again, nobody knew that Trossard is going to be available this window. He was going to sign a new contract with Brighton until a De Zerbi happened, or as the report saying that the De Zerbi happened. So he was linked to, I think, Chelsea, the 3 London teams. And out of the 3, Arsenal obviously were hasty and did it quickly. So cheers, Chelsea. You lost out. You lost out on a long-standing link. So yeah, I think Trossard was a surprise. Again, I would probably contradict what I said early on, is that maybe it could have been part of the plan. We don't know. But nobody knew, as per what we all know, is that he wasn't available in the beginning of this transfer. He was always going to sign a new contract with Brighton until that thing happened. Having said that, with the game on Sunday, I laughed when Prosper said that Ten Hag can manage a small budget team. But just contrary to that, I mean, he spent 220 million now in the summer on Malacia, Casemiro, Eriksen, Anthony, Martin, Dubravka, and Martinez. I mean, that is the players that he brought in for 220 million. But yeah, again, he's a coach that has, or a manager that has changed quite a bit at United, and I think. He has changed the cohesion. He's brought in cohesion, and he's brought in unity, and he's brought in so many things that was lacking in the managers before him, or between him and Alex Ferguson. So there's a big gap. It's a lot of managers that has been between the two of them, and now you can see there's some sort of direction that is taking them to, and that's going to be the tough part for us to obviously overcome, is that a Manchester United, excuse the pun, United is coming to the Emirates and try to derail our season. They thought that they're going to win on Tuesday or Wednesday night, and they're going to cleanse the gap with 6, and then on Sunday they come to us, the winners, and then the gap is 3. So that doesn't happen in football. You can't predict these things. So, but we like to put our predictions forward in terms of the of the score. But in reality, is we don't know what's going to happen. We hope that we will win. We hope for the fact that we've been playing the better football for the last 18 games. Even on the day we lost against them, we had the better football. It's just, again, it's things that we don't have control of in certain aspects of the game, except for throwing in the whole kitchen sink to try and manage the game.
Mhm.
And like what Prosper said, is that whoever's gonna manage the game properly is gonna probably win the game. But also on the flip side, Prosper, is that if we start the game like we do in every other game, we play our game, we start that game, and we get a goal or two, and take it to them. I mean, this is I think it's the Anthony referee that is refereeing the game. I don't know his full name. He fancies the home team mostly, which is probably unfair. But it's probably going to be in our favor in terms of the home team. And we only lost 2 points at home this season, and we got to build on that, because Newcastle came with a plan, and they sort of executed their plan very well against us at home. But we need to look at what a plan is for every team coming to visit us. So I think United's going to come there to obviously derail our plans to continue with the 5 points ahead of City. We possibly go into that game City 2 points behind us if they win Wolves on Sunday. So that is the pressure that we're gonna obviously, and I think Richard or somebody mentioned in the group, is that is the sort of pressure that we're gonna have to soak up and see what we are made of. And I think Arteta lives for this type of thing, is to soak up the pressure and say, City, you've won, now it's my turn to win, type of thing. But he's gonna look at his own game and motivate the guys according to that. So also, if Trossard is going to play, it's going to be a nice option to have, a strong option to have, especially with him and Emil Smith Rowe to come from the bench. I mean, that is something that we need at this stage of the campaign.
Okay, Prosper, do you want to add anything else before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, maybe just one thing. If you look at all the time we've had a good record, unbeaten run record. I hate the fact that it's Manchester United that comes to break it.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Starting from the Wenger Arsenal.
That's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Starting from the Wenger Arsenal, the unbeaten. Is it the 47 game, 48?
Yeah.
It's Manchester United that broke that record.
That broke that record.
This time around, early in the season, bad Manchester United, we all went into that game thinking, okay, we're winning this game. And what did they do? They rose from that.
Yeah.
So I feel when we're going on Sunday, it's more than game management on the pitch, but also the manager.
Yeah.
There's that mentality in our dressing room. I don't know that we are inferior to Manchester United. I just feel so, because we give away so many games against Manchester United. So I feel if we can overcome that with Arteta, probably that would be a start of good things. But it's a 50-50 game. The advantage is that we're home and we're in a better position.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, we're a more coherent team. We are a more confident team than they are at the moment, especially with the midweek game they had, which wasn't as comfortable. So we can get the 3 points.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, sorry. You mentioned something about the management of the game, Prosper, and I also think is that as long as we don't lose, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We want the 3 points, but as long as we don't lose, we're still in a good position. It has to be said. Ten Hag said that we won Arsenal without Casemiro. Yes, Casemiro came in for 10 minutes or 13 minutes at 80th minute. He brought Casemiro on. I think it was just his first game really. against a big team. So Casemiro's not there. That doesn't mean anything. They still a force to be reckoned with. Fred and McTominay will probably be one of the two players that comes in his position. McTominay is more suspect than Fred. Fred is more of a walkover for Partey than McTominay. McTominay will probably try and kick you and foul you and all that sort of thing. And that is where we're gonna have to look at, is that try to manipulate them in the center, because if we can do that and Xhaka keeps a hold of Eriksen, then surely there's nobody that can give a pass through to either Rashford or to whoever plays on the other side. So that is where we're going to have to look at, and we should manage that midfield so much better than they, because we have three masterclass midfielders in that position: Partey, Odegaard, and Xhaka. And the three of them has got that marriage this season where it is very hard to divorce them from each other. And that is so therefore I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Arsenal.
Okay.
Just to add on what Lane said, as I said, game management, it's all up to us. We keep the ball, then we keep all the Manchester United midfielders out of the game. If we keep the ball, we keep the possession, they won't have a ball to play.
Well, listen.
You see?
Well. Listen, I'm hoping for a victory, but like Glenn says, do not lose the game. Don't lose
exactly
the game. But like Prosper, like you said, game management. You see how Arteta manages the game whilst it's out of play and with the substitutions. And I think you're right. Sometimes substitutions, to me, don't make sense. But anyway.
when it's needed.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex. One more thing before we go.
Yeah.
One more thing is, remember we said the last time with Liverpool, it was the mental block that we had. We overcame that block.
Yeah.
You mentioned something on one of your shows this week regarding the Tottenham game. We went there and we blocked what kept us out. After so many times, we won at Tottenham. Now the same thing with Man United.
Yeah.
You said it, Prosper. They are the ones who always derail and break our records or the things that we trying to build. They come and they break it. We have to break that mental block, and this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
We can do it. Anyway, we've come to an end on this latest segment of the Easy Talk. And I'll tell you what, it's been an hour and 3 minutes, and that hour and 3 minutes, Prosper and Glenwyn, has just flown by.
I thought there's another half an hour left.
Yeah, there's 2 more days left.
There's so much to talk about, huh?
Yeah, I didn't see the time. Sorry, man.
Prosper, you're always welcome on Canal Fire TV, brother, man. Always welcome.
Thanks. And it's always a pleasure on my side.
Good. And Glenwyn, actually, guys, the link is in the live chat. There's no excuse not to subscribe to Goon the Matters. Go over, click the link, boom, subscribed. Glenwyn, thank you very much, brother, man.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. And thanks, Prosper. I enjoyed you, man.
Thanks, brother.
Brilliant. So I will be back on Monday. Yeah, I'm taking a bit of a break over the weekend, unless my brother's going to do a watch along for Sunday. But by the sounds of it, there won't be no watch along. But enjoy the weekend, enjoy the game. Yeah, against the old enemy. Can we break that deadlock, that mental block against Erik ten Hag's men? Of course we can. If anyone can, we can. Anyhow, this has been Canon for the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world.